Go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 and you coin. Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.
Do I have your attention now? Do I have it?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So we're just gonna get right into it for today's show. So we're not going to waste any time. Let's get the camera back on wherever the heck it went. There we are. Okay. So we are going to talk about this Zcash thing. So Zcash basically dumped because all of the team had a governance issue. There were some governance issues inside of the company, which is funny with a privacy coin that has a company. But we're going to talk about this. They resigned because of some issues, and most of the team went off and then created now a separate company. I don't know if they're gonna continue to work either with Zcash or probably even make a different coin. Who knows? They might fork Zcash. And then that news will break. And then what's going to happen with the Zcash holders? Well, even just with this news, it gave some volatility with Zcash and it took a nice little plunge. Here's the kicker. So when this stuff happens and there's some negative news and there's some fear, uncertainty, there's doubt because of whatever is happening, and there wasn't really much warning, but of course, the price dumps because the people who are holding massive supply, like Mr. Mert on X, one of the co-founders and devs of Solana, has been heavily shilling Zcash majorly. And Arthur Hayes is one of those that was shilling Zcash very much. So I bet those two were probably the top sellers. And they're still coming on the timeline and shilling Zcash to $10,000. So, but here is the kicker though, because when these things do happen, you do have the big money that comes in again and starts to buy up the lows. And you can see where we have support here at 377, 35, 380. You can see some support here. Let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, from the past going back into October last year. And so from here, we could get the traders coming in and start to try and trade this or buy up some small supply just to say, hey, I'll hedge against this. Maybe this isn't as bad as what it seems. You'll just have to make that choice for yourself, obviously. But we don't hold any Zcash. We're not trading Zcash. But if you are a trader, then you'd be looking at this as a possible opportunity to use this to your advantage. And I bet it's all, and I think that's what this is. But traders are probably taking advantage of this right now, saying, hey, we can hit that low. we see the resistance where it just hit that sell point. So there is some obvious targets of where it could lead right back up to if the volume can continue to spike. So we've seen this happen with a lot of different coins where FUD hits, we get the dump, or the dump already kind of precedes the news, because you start to see the action on chain, and then you see the article, everyone wakes up and you're like, whoa. And yeah, sometimes it can be very volatile, especially, I mean, this can happen with companies. So it's just the same with crypto. And especially if these people are doxxed, there's a team, there's any kind of beef. This happened with Gala. Gala, there was some beef between the two founders, and it caused a bunch of setbacks, and roadmaps were never met, and basically like the momentum for Gala kind of got chopped. And so it can happen. So that's why sometimes these projects, if they're just decentralized and there's no founder, there's no quote person behind it in that type of way, it's kind of just ran by the community. That is like I think the ultimate thing to strive for your project is that for almost to be anonymous, and the people are just running it. It's like an open chart, open source, and then it just almost creates itself. Because then this stuff doesn't happen as much. And it's almost like we could kind of collectively come together behind these things. And what are those things called? Oh, what are they called? The memes, my friends. Pepe, Dogecoin. And yeah, the Moon Nandy. Yeah, they had a good run. Yeah, I know they had a good run with Zcash. You know, they were shilling the crap out of Zcash, man. They were shilling the dog crap out of Zcash. All the big accounts, they were, you know, it's just it's just what happens. We always forget that is a signal for us in the crypto space. As you see the big accounts, you forget that they get paid to make posts. It's been proven by the on-chain investigators like Zach where he's been like, look, these people will shill these things, get paid in sometimes the token that they're shilling, or straight just USDT, and then dump it right after, and then get paid thousands of dollars for said post or shill, whatever it is, repost. I mean, it's proven. So I wonder how much Mert is getting paid by the team to shill Zcash to $10,000. I don't know. Hate to call out Mert like that, but it's just, they were going hard, man. They're going super hard. And then he thought he's like the level of shilling. He made this post. He's like, the level of shilling you guys don't understand. And I was like, sir, you obviously haven't met a Sproto. Have you met like an actual true meme coin holder? I don't know if you have, because the level of shilling, you could call me Shilbo Baggins, sir. Just call me Shilbo Baggins. Because the level of shilling, I don't think you understand. Mr. Mert. I don't think you do. So, come, put the PFP on. We'll show you what shilling's all about. Put the Sproto on, sir, and we'll show you what the shilling's all about. Okay? We'll show you the most undefeated resurrection coin in existence of memes. Don't get me started. Don't get me started about the coin who lived. Okay? I don't get paid to talk about nothing. That's the difference between me. I don't know if there's enough people watching for the companies to want to pay me, but we'll see. But it's funny though. I talked about to be honest, like it is a bear market for crypto content. Just these channels in general. You got to remember back in 2021, the biggest channels and the things that were being pushed in the algorithm were drop shipping, creating your own business company, whatever, how to make money online. So obviously it translated into crypto because then it was like, well, how do you make money online? And then the traders and people that were early into crypto and making content, those channels blew up because it was just a trajectory of the algorithm. So right now, YouTube and all these other, they're not pushing in the search our channels. They're pushing sports betting, reaction videos, the more so stuff that's going to get like you know, more of an emotional reaction. Like they're not going to push crypto charts, education, you know, things like that. It's just not happening right now. So we just have to accept that. It's just, it is what it is. And there has been a natural drop off because I've talked to people that are in the business. I've talked to people that they do this, you know, this is what they do. And I've seen the numbers for everyone's channels go down. Just numbers and just with just viewers. Some channels have gotten more subscribers, but at the end of the day, subscribers don't mean anything. You need like 100 people. You don't need you need 100 people that are going to watch you dedicated every single day. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. That's actually what matters. Because then you have a community. Like there are people, I'd say, I don't know, maybe don't know how many people, but at least enough that I can call you guys the Dano Dojo crew. Like we're the dojo crew where we've been training for the past 2.5, 3 years on this channel, trying to keep our heads on our shoulders. If anything, it's a badge of honor or a Boy Scout crypto badge to say, okay, I haven't quit yet. And we've been here to try and represent that energy of not quitting because it takes more than just 3 months or 6 months to quote, get rich. But the fascinating thing about crypto is that does happen. It's like it's like the lucky draw, you know? There's been some people with this white whale meme coin that's going around that put in $370 and it printed over $100,000, $200,000. So yes, it is possible. It definitely is possible. This is what makes crypto so woo. It is not for the faint of heart. So because then at the same time, you could be the person that put in 370 and then you made like, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500. Maybe you even made maybe even a little more than that. And you sold it. And then you see it, whatever it is, to be ticker Bitcoin, because that's happened for me with ticker Bitcoin. It's happened to me with Pepe. It's happened to me with Ponky, Brett. Every single meme coin that I've bought that I had an instinct for, Wojak, I sold them all too early. And it's a hard lesson to learn because you could say, okay, oh yeah, I made some money, but imagine you believing just a little bit more, having a little bit more patience. And that's really the difference between some of the balance of your wallet being just a couple thousand to being like a couple 100,000. So when you know this and you start to learn this in these cycles, that really is the key. That is the key. And so I think if you were to go back into the history of my live streams, this has been the thesis the whole time, is just to really try to figure out where that money flows when it's the euphoric times, and then to survive and stay in when it's the bear market and everyone's like freaking out. That's when you lock in and you go, okay, let me find it. It's like you gotta because there's like a bunch of, because it's like grenades, the dust and it's shrapnel everywhere. You're just like crawling through, and then finally the dust clears, and then you see the coin. You see who's alive. You see who's alive. Okay, this is alive. Buy it. Or pick it up. You're like picking it up out of the trench. And that's how this is what we've been doing. I have the freaking receipts. You can go back to my very first live stream where I was breaking down how to find the best on-chain memes. What people are buying, not just what people are posting about or shilling about. What are they actually buying? What are the exchanges buying? What are the exchanges like pulling in supply because they're waiting, knowing that retail are coming in? Why do you think the exchanges use the memes for their advertisement all the time? They don't use Bitcoin or Ethereum for their advertisement. They use memes. Crypto.com and Kraken and all these companies, they literally use memes and meme characters for their advertisement because they know. So it's gonna get crazy. I need to fix my chat so I can see this. Okay, yeah, so headband. All right, thank you for reminding me. So now we're going to get into, real quick, because I really want to discuss this today, is we're going to be setting up a Telegram group. And we haven't had a Telegram group before. We've had a Discord for a long time. And I actually have really liked using Discord. And if you've used it before, there's so many things you can do inside of there. But also, Telegram is a great application, and it's pretty decentralized. There's things that you can input in there. And I think I can add a lot, not I think I know, a lot of value in having a Telegram group, because I have people like, for instance, Headband. He's going to be in there offering signals. He's going to be offering like, because he's in crypto. He watches crypto every single day, just like I do. And I feel like you're only as strong as the people who you are surrounded with and networking and like who are in your circle, who are just as valuable and smarter than you are in different ways and in different aspects of the market, like, you know, NFTs, DeFi farming. So we've been doing this for a long time, and we want to provide more value, and it's still going to be free. It's going to be obviously free, but it's just going to be like, look, you got to just sign up for a link or something like that. So, you know, there's no paywall. You just sign up for a link and then you get into the Telegram. So we're going to have that, and it's going to have, one of the first things that we'll have is just like a DeFi farming Google Sheet, where we're going to be adding different protocols in there and different protocol website links. And we're going to be testing these things, and we're going to be DeFi farming the protocols that are going to be offering the highest yield and the as safe as you can have. There's always risk, but as the safest way possible for us to earn yield from the stable coins coming in, because the stablecoin market is huge. Everyone's, you know, we've been talking about the stablecoin super cycle. Well, the stablecoins have to be minted on a chain, right? And then there's going to be all these different opportunities for these different stablecoins coming in with volume that are fresh. And there's going to be basically like fresh opportunity for us to generate the fees and the rewards for using the protocol, one, and then generating the fees, Sometimes you can even farm it to get a token. So then you get that token, you can then restake that token and then start earning even more rewards. So we're going to be doing this on this channel. And if you want to follow it, we're going to be doing it most likely inside of that Telegram. And we'll have a way that we can all learn this and do this together, because this is what is the most important. Like, we want to be able to obviously buy these tokens, make money, or have the prospect of maybe potentially making money, because at the end of the day, like, legally, and also because I believe all these things they're freaking collectibles online, because they're tokens, they're representing a meme brand, they're representing just art at a sense. And then even go down to the fact of the way that the tokens are minted, and it's just, yeah, it's internet money that we're able to trade back and forth like a damn Pokemon card. Like, it's more of a Pokemon card for me. And you see how valuable those are. So we need to be doing this. So the easiest way that I can provide value for you guys is to, try my best to provide some of this stuff. So I'll give you like an example. We're starting with Crow. So what we're going to do here is start with the DeFi farming sheet, and we want to prioritize protocols with about 100 million TVL and multiple, so make sure it's audited, because obviously you don't want to be connecting your wallets to unaudited, unsecure protocols that could potentially get hacked or steal all of your crap. So we need to make sure that we are staying safe in that regard. So, and this is going to be for farming. You stable pairs to avoid, if you want to avoid volatility pretty much altogether, then you obviously don't want to pair with a token that is having price volatility, because essentially, if you pair and are providing liquidity or whatever you're doing inside of the protocol with a token that is going to, say, crash 95%, you're going to get cooked. And then you basically have an impermanent or permanent loss on your, quote, yield that you were trying to generate. And then it made no sense for you to do it at all, because then you just lost money trying to get more money. That's not what we want to do. So, but right now, because we're in the low and in the perfect timing to be able to do all this right now, especially on certain protocols that are like just waiting to pop and receive this like inflow, think about it in the way of the perp dexes. What happened to all the perp dex trading volume and the TVL and the token volume and the prices when everyone was shilling perp dexes? That's what happened. So everything started to go up. And imagine if you were there already before and you were farming and yielding that stuff already or using the platform, you would have made a crap ton of money. So we have to get our heads in the game and not worry about the timeline and say, who cares about the timeline? Who cares about who's saying what? I want to make money. I want to make money on how the way the big players are making it and how the banks have always made money by literally farming the users, but with fees. But instead of it sounding bad, we're just literally getting a piece of the network and getting a piece of just having our money parked there, exactly how the banks do it with our money. But just in the difference, we get to get paid for it. See, it's always been set up the way is that we don't benefit from that stuff. They only give us like 0.5% in our checking account. Maybe we get 1%. Some of the banks will offer like 1% for the checking, but that's been for years. They've just used us and then charge us the fees. And we don't get any part of it. Like when you put your money in the bank, They had at a point, banks were able to use 100% of the money you put in their bank to lend out to other people, and you never got a piece of it. Imagine that. Let me say that again. Hold on, I gotta drink some water. Holy shit. Imagine this. You put all your money in the bank. They were able to lend out 100% of all of your money to other people, charge them interest, and you never got to get a piece of it. And the banks ran off with billions of dollars in interest fees by providing loans with your money. Let that sink in. So crypto is an opportunity in Web3 for you to see it, be a part of it, and benefit from it. But no one's going to make you do it. No one's going to force you to do it. You just need to learn it and test it for yourself. Because then that's how you understand ultimately how the rest of the money system works that you never got to be a part of. But now you can. Very important. All right, so this provided by Headband. This is great because we were talking about this, and we want to like make sure that we are in the right places at the right time. So this is the weekly routine. Would be to check which pools have low TVL right now, high 24-hour volume though. So the daily volume is coming in like really strong, but it's low TVL. So if you come in, you have more of a chance to get fees. Like you won't be buried by the whales or you're just like, okay, you're just very small in the pool. A lot of those big pools get taken over by the big boys. So this is why we kind of want to be in the low to mid cap stuff to then farm that. So new incentives, new token launches. So sometimes when we're in here, like for instance, when we get into the Crow, there's tokens inside of those protocols, and there's top 10 protocols that we'll look at. You can move your stables into whichever pool is currently hot. So when you go into these pools, you can filter them to the top and see which ones are getting more transactions and volume in here. This I want to change my chat. The chat I can barely see on the screen. And guys, make sure you're sharing the stream. Oh, Satoshi Nakamoto said, "You mean like when I said CWFTC? Is that what is that? Is that the chain link thing? Is that the chain link? Remind me. I'm so sorry." Well, so I was already doing this. I was doing this years ago. I was doing this on Phantom, and I was doing it, and I was farming some tokens. And what else was I doing? I was on Pancake Swap. I was trying to do with Pancake Swap, and I think that was it at the time, like way back. This was like 2021, 2022, and then I was testing, trying to figure out Solana at the time as well after that. So it was like, it was Pancake Swap, Phantom with Spooky Swap. And then I went, and then I started trying to test out Solana. Cross-chain with ChatGPT. I've been collecting it for over 5 years. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, well, this is something that in the Telegram, and if you want to like break down a whole, like, yeah, I mean, please, this is where this value would be so appreciated. And then we can all learn this and do this together, because if that is qualified and we're going to be, and we can break it down, then let's do it. Let's do it. There's no reason to not be like collectively doing this and learning this together and making sure that we're in the right places at the right time. Okay, so for instance, this one talks about Chronos, and we've been bullish on Crow, but we haven't gone into the Crow DeFi. We've just staked Crow to be able to get rewards with the card, with the app. Link in the description. But with Chronos on the actual chain, it's an EVM chain. So you'll be able to, you'll send Chronos into its own chain, but you can use it on like the MetaMask app or whatever. So like when we do this, you can use the MetaMask app. You can use, what's the other one? There's a couple different wallets that you can use for Chronos. Pretty sure, I think you might do the crypto.com DeFi web extension as well. We'll just have to double check. But for now, if you want to just like, if most people have a MetaMask, so you can do it with MetaMask and connect your wallet through there. So DEX incentives, ecosystem grants, new token rewards, boosted APR events. They do this a lot. When these hit, the stablecoin LPs get free tokens on top of the swap fees. So whenever you're interacting in that ecosystem, you're farming the tokens, but then also there could be extra bonus incentives. And so this is how you can turn $500, $1,000 into a growing stack without taking very much like hardcore directional risk. And especially if you're using the USDC Crow pair or the USDC ETH pools. And you got to think about it, because people are swapping their USDC to Crow and back and forth whenever they want to do transactions and be able to use the chain. Same with the stablecoin. So you got to think about stablecoin volume. The most volume is USDC and USDT, depending on the chain. And then what is being sent in the most to be able to use it? ETH and or Crow. You do this on every single chain, then you are going to generate yield and build up a stack of stables that you can then use to buy the token that you want to buy, which eliminates a lot of your risk. But obviously, if that token that you're buying goes to zero, then yeah, you just lost it. But that's the game, my friends. You get to choose what you want to put your stable coins and things in and tokens and figure it out. But we need capital. We need liquid capital. So we have to start to farm it. So, and also, yeah, so Headband's making a point about, okay, so if the fee, you got to watch the fees. So we want to make sure that whenever we're doing this, like we're not paying high slippage. We're able to not, because like you don't want to be paying over like 2% or over 2%, 5% slippage, 10% slippage on some of this stuff just to farm at a like 10% yield on a thing that could be super volatile. It wouldn't make any sense. So we need like low risk, high volume, pretty decent TVL and stables. So then it's generating something, and it could be offering you a token as well. Then you can stake that token, and then you got a free token. So what are you worried about? So then you have a free token that you can then stake, and then you can just kind of, that's how you can farm it. So then you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. So what I've noticed also in the past is that you'll see new pools appear, incentive launches, a new stablecoin drops, a new DEX opens, a new farm starts. And the easiest way that you can look into this is going into the chain protocol on DeFi Llama. So in this document, we'll have the quick document tabs. You can just click in, and you have the chain protocols. And it first starts out with Chronos. You click on that. you can, and if you don't know about Cronos, you just click on the CoinMarketCap link and it'll bring you to it. So if you notice on the metrics here, on the, get it up a little bit. On the metrics here, the TVL back in 2022 was freaking popping on this chain. This is on the Cronos chain. So you notice how, look how much came in when it was, quote, the good times, okay? And look at how it's kind of been steadily popping back up. We've had some highs. We've made some higher highs leading from that bear market that we were in for a long time going into 2025. And then now we're at this little swoop of going into this year. Now, I think if you look at the price trajectory and where we're going to see some next resistance would be around the above the $1 billion to $1.5 billion inflow into Cronos. Now, if you go into the narrative and what's been breaking in the news and the money flow, Trump media is using Cronos chain for their Truth Social ecosystem. So if you think about it, wouldn't we want to be in the ecosystem generating fees and having liquidity in there? So then when $1 billion comes in, you just get a piece of it. So, and you can see the trends on the chart of how the TVL came in different points. You can base this breakdown in these metrics on how you're going to even buy an altcoin just by this alone. And so then you go down and you click on the protocols inside the link. And what you want to do is click on the TVL, and that brings up the top chains to the top, because then that's has the most money, has the most locked, total value locked in the chain, whether it be through the stakings of stable coins, and then it's generated by what the company or the quote protocol is essentially worth. So the crypto.com liquid staking is provided on two different chains, which is Cronos and Ethereum. That's why it has over 500 million TVL locked in there, because that's what people do. Like I said, you can stake Crow to get debit card rewards. That's where that comes from. It's on chain. The next one, if you remember from 2021 in the bull run, Tectonic, that token was listed in crypto.com. Before I knew about going into DeFi, this is a DeFi lending protocol. And so you can provide lending and also get flash loans inside of here. And we're going to pull this up. You can, and I remember this thing going ham. And people, and all the Crow people in the crypto.com space were talking about Tectonic. So then you go to VVS Finance. This is a DEX. And then you go into Fulcrum, which is running on 3 chains. You can do trading on here, and we're going to go into this. But then you could look in, what I was also doing is looking at which ones are generating the most fees and revenue. And you go into the 7-day change, or also the 24-hour, 1-day change of getting that spike volume. That brings up some protocols. But first we can maybe see, okay, look, let's make sure it's got an audit on it, or it's at least been used. Maybe we can do some due diligence, even run it through ChatGPT or Grok and say, hey, has there been any red flags on this particular protocol? And we can do it correctly. So the first 3 that we're going to highlight in Cronos chain is the VVS Finance, Tectonic, and then Fulcrum. And in this spreadsheet, you're going to see you got the stablecoin supported. It's got what type of protocol it is. whether it's lending or it's a DEX. Easier. There we go. You can see the largest DEX on Chronos. The VVS is the largest DEX, so it's got the notes of what it is. And then also, actually, I forgot, I actually have it audited already. So I already ran this through, and some of these, you can see it's in our mark of TVL over 100 million, 133 million for Tectonic, 193 million for VVS Finance, and audits, yes, by Slow Mist, and it just says for Tectonic, yes. And you can see for the notes for Tectonic, it's the cross-chain money market supplies stablecoin to earn interest from borrowers over collateralized loans, reduce default risk. And it just noted that it had a minor exploit in 2024, 250K loss, but recovered. But that's good to know, you know? So we're building a really awesome thing here. And this is going to be all inside the Telegram. And there's going to be some really cool people in here that I have met and I trust over the years, being in this space for almost 4 years now, that I think can bring massive value in what they have learned over the past however long they've been in crypto. So we're locking in this year, guys. We really are. Because we want to provide the best channel, the best live stream, and the best flow of information for crypto, and also for just like getting our heads in the freaking game here. Because while there's all these people that complain and FUD and do all this stuff, we're here to work. We're here to put the work in, all right? And we're bringing you with me. I told Headband, if I make it, everyone eats. Everyone's eating. No one's getting left behind. Not on my fucking watch. Excuse my language, but it's not happening. So let's go. But I'm not going to break this down any further, because then I'm giving too much. I got to at least protect some of my content, because I got to at least funnel some people in. If that didn't get you interested, I don't know what will. You gotta tickle your feet. Okay. I feel like I was talking for a really long time. Now let's go into the timeline. So I was like, I was wondering did something else happen? I was like, geez. So this happened. We kind of felt it. We knew something was gonna. Doesn't this happen every time? We have something be brought up as fraud, or something gets attention where a bunch of people of sides are going to start to fight. And there's upheaval. And then someone gets shot or dies or and then look, the George Floyd thing, oh God, I mean, you just can kind of go, there's so many. So it feels like it happens every single time. And it's just, and it is frustrating. It is. And I bet for some people, it really is just frustrating, because you're like, can we just have the suffering and the killing and all the stuff stop? You know? It would be nice. But there's a lot of things going on in the world, and a lot of different belief systems, perceptions, layers of reality that people are having to, go through. And a big layer of reality for people right now is just kind of like having to deal with the fact that everything is getting more and more expensive. Your basic needs of just like paying for rent and food and all that stuff. Everything has just become a little bit harder in that sense. And so that has been permeating a lot of people's psyche, and it's a good distraction from the encompassing thing that's happening, which is ultimately a big battle of control, resource, who is going to be the main provider of AI robotic control, who's going to be the leader. If you just look at everything that's happening right now, that's all that matters. I think the wars, I think everything that is being put in front of our eyes right now is a big distraction at the fact that these leaders are working with each other, but also competing with each other, and who is going to, quote, control the world. And that, even in itself, might be a trap and an illusion that's even happening. Because if you can give them a name, my friend told me this, he said, if you can give them a name, like the Rothschilds or the Bilderberg Group or whatever it is, or the Trilateral Commission or the whatever it is, the secret society, if you can give it a name, you're already 10,000 steps behind them, and they're so already ahead of you, and they've already pulled another veil curtain to not reveal who they are. And that's just how it is. Why do you think when they uncover the fraud, it's like there's so many people in front of the fraud that by the time you're trying to figure out who caused the fraud, they're already gone. That's the truth. So let's get back to, someone's asking on Twitch, what happened to Zcash? So let me get back to the article, Zcash. Let's just type in Zcash. We had the article up. What the hell happened? Let me go, okay. Yeah, Zcash dropped 21% after the entire Zcash core dev team resigned all at once. That actually did happen. And then Mert, he comes into the timeline. This is about an hour ago. He said, fun to wake up to a barrage of AI slop bait about Zcash that everyone has fallen for. No one in Zcash has quit. They literally just changed the name of the company in the corp docs, meaning you just got baited for a discount. Won't remain for long, $10,000. And that's very interesting because he says that, but then when I typed in, let's see, but I don't know how much you can, I don't know how much I can even trust this. Let me go back. Oh, I did have it up. So Zcash's main developers quit without warning. Zcash faces his biggest test yet. Said electric coin company Zcash core development team resigned en masse following internal governance disputes. Describes the exit as a case of constructive discharge, citing board actions that blocked the team from fulfilling Zcash's mission. The developers plan to form a new company to continue building Zcash's privacy-focused technology. Zcash, one of crypto's most successful privacy projects, was riding renewed momentum into 2026. As obviously, it was being shilled to high heaven on the timeline. That didn't mean every normie or crypto person was buying Zcash just because they saw a thread guy talking about it or Mert or Arthur Hayes. Big whales and exchanges were buying Zcash. Let's be honest. So then, almost overnight, its core development team walked away. And so this ECC, the primary organization responsible for developing and maintaining Zcash, resigned in its entirety, triggering a governance crisis that has shaken confidence across the Zcash ecosystem. And Yo-Yo saying, Arthur said it's the future. Yeah, you know what he also said? He also said that Athena was going to be the future and the stablecoin was going to be top notch. Guess what happened? That was one of the biggest reasons why the October 10/10 event happened. The liquidation of the collateralized loans and margin loans in Binance. It was all backed in with USDE through Athena with the big deals that were happening years before. I was reading the articles and following the money trail. They built up all this big fake thing and dumped it on our freaking heads. Screw Arthur Hayes. Don't get me started. Yeah, don't know. Because if you really look at what happened, it's bullshit. And you get buttered up by these people and you believe in something, and it just makes you it brings you to the fact that you need to do your research and really watch what is happening here. And when you see stuff like that, it's a red flag. But the thing is this market, it's an open free market. You can buy whatever the hell you want. And this is not a financial advisor channel. It's entertainment. It's a freaking crypto radio show, a crypto live stream. These are all opinions, and my opinions are my own, and you can't sue me for them. When you hit the buy and sell button, it's your fault. It's not mine. So if you fall for any whatever it is, whether it be thinking Zcash is the future, and every time they're coming onto the timeline is usually when it's at these highs that they want to sell, I don't know. Seems to me a little fishy. I don't know, but that's why I like memes so much. That's honestly why I like memes so much. And I really, when Morad hit the timeline, like in my feed and did his breakdown at the, token 2049 or whatever it is. I think it was when it was in Dubai. I mean, man, like, it really did ring true because it's exactly what a lot of us were thinking. We were like, we're so tired of these blockchains or protocols or whoever they are. They come out and it's just like they want us to buy these tokens, but then they're very they're not genuine in their approach, and they're not being truthful about the fact that like they have still supply and they want their buddies to make money, not you. Like, and they have all these different token unlocks and all this crap, and then they don't even offer you anything for taking that risk. Like you take that risk by buying their shitty token, and you don't get anything from it besides massive counterparty risk from them like holding more of the supply and dumping on your head. So what the meme coin movement represents is an opportunity to eliminate that and get more people to become millionaires or thousandaires. Some people making 100K would change their damn life. 50K would change someone's life right now at how expensive shit is. I bet some people, if they could just make $10,000, would probably be on their knees. So that's what the meme coin movement is all about, is waking up the people to rally behind stuff that isn't basically an open chart. I call it open chart momentum. Once it's gone, once it goes, it can't be stopped. We've seen it before. And what I mean by that is like in a period of time, it's almost like it can't be stopped. But we have seen, yes, obviously there's ebbs and flows in the market. People sell. Great. That's what the ticker Bitcoin chart represents for me, is where people were turned into millionaires. Graham actually explained it in a perfect representation. This coin probably made more millionaires than a lot. Probably up there with SHIB and Doge and Pepe. And I would say probably 100%. So it's like, our goal here is to hopefully also like open the eyes of people to be like, damn, we could just rally behind stuff. We could. There's enough of us. There really is enough of us. There is enough of us. Now, everyone talks about what's the use case in crypto, or what's the use case in meme coins. Guess what? Nothing means nothing if no one's buying your token. Your token is your use case. Your ability to get someone to collect your token, I don't care what you're doing, that's the use case. Nothing else matters. Then you can build. You need users. You need people on the chain. You need people that hold the token in mass for a long time. Then you release something, because then you got them. Because nothing else matters. But people like think about yes, we, in a sense, in this community, if we want people to come in and learn the deep, dark roots and of the DeFi farming and stuff like that, that's honestly for a specific crowd. It's not going to be for everyone. Okay. It's not going to be for everyone. I might get 100 people. I might get 1,000. I don't know. Who knows how many people I'll get in this Telegram when we get it kicking. But when it comes to like the regular person out there, they're going to open up Coinbase and they're going to open up crypto.com and they're going to buy a funny meme coin. What looks funny? What do I gravitate towards? And we're going to represent that energy of that. We do believe that if we just opened up the possibility that if we tuned in to a collective consciousness that's like with Doge, Pepe, ticker Bitcoin, SPX 6900, massive movements. Governance? What do you need governance for? You need people buying your token. And more people buying it than selling it. Incentivize diamond hands. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. So, all right, my friends. I'll see you on the next one. You can check out the... Here, I'll put it up on the... Let's see. This is pretty cool. I thought this QR code, little banner, looked awesome. If you want to support the channel, you can scan that QR code, and also it'll give you exposure into this cool wallet called Rumble Wallet. It launched yesterday, and it's a self-custodial wallet, so it's just like works like a regular wallet, but it has that Rumble feature where you can tip creators. So if you'd like to support the channel, you can test out the Rumble wallet, then also send USDT, USDT Gold, and Bitcoin. It's pretty cool. Check it out. All right, guys. Hope you have a good day. Peace.